Ever wish you had a magic wand for your photos? Well, buckle up because this new AI image editor does exactly that, turning your meh pictures into wow art in seconds. In just a few keystrokes, no layers, no filters, no headache, you get results that even your OCD critiquing friend can't argue with. Stick around because today I'm diving into how this AI wizardry actually works, why it's miles ahead of traditional tools, and exactly how you can use it to make your friends ask, wait, how did you do that? Now let's get started. All right, so the tool we're talking about here is the Flux Playground. You can access it by going to playground.bfl.ai. And this tool just focuses on Flux models. And you can also see the newest version of Flux model, which is the Flux point 1 context. And Flux context is actually the newest version of Flux. And this contains even the Pro and the Max. And on this channel, we've talked about different versions of Flux and how you can access Flux. I think I mentioned up to 10 videos. If you haven't watched it, I'm going to just link it above. And what this tool does is not just image editing. I mean, from the interface, you can see you can just enter a prompt and generate images as you would in other AI image generators. And then you can see some sample images that were generated using this tool. And these images are so realistic. I mean, it depends on the style you want to go with. And I mean, just look at this, a monkey playing badminton. Oh my game. And then we can see other yes, and then it handles text very well, which is something that's very commendable. And now what we are really interested in is the image editing aspect, because by now you must have known a lot of AI image generators. That's if you are subscribed to this channel. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Wink, wink. So now when you are on this dashboard, to access the image editing feature, you just click on the image tab here and you will see different aspects. I mean, there's the generate, there's the edit, you can fill, and then you can expand. These features can also be accessed on Adobe Firefly. I mean, the fill and the expand. We've used it before on this channel. So I'm just going to click on the edit. All right, so to edit an image, you obviously need to provide it with the image, and this is where you need to drag and drop the image, or just click and select from your computer storage. Now, the interesting thing, I have thought of different approaches. I mean, different real life situations where you would need your images edited. And for this, I have been able to come up with different use cases. For the first use case, as you can see on the screen, this is someone standing. So let me just give you the context. Let's say you are an aspiring influencer and you have a perfectly posed travel photo. And then after taking this photo, the lighting is flat and the colors are dull, because these photos, I mean, this particular photo was taken using a phone camera that isn't so sharp. You can see even from the way the trees are, I mean, some of the faces that you can see. So how do we um enhance this particular photo? How do we edit this photo to come out with all the features that we need? And by the way, all the images used in this video were generated using AI. I used the Google Image FX just to generate these photos, and you can see how realistic they look. Maybe because of how I prompted it, but it just shows how good the tool is. So I just uploaded the picture here, and now the next thing it wants us to do is to describe what we want to change. And what we want to change is very simple. We want to just prompt it to just implement those features that we feel are lacking. All right, so for this use case, here's what I said. It should enhance the colors, it should add golden hour lighting, and it should also add some smooth skin tones. I mean, just some smooth skin textures. So let's see how this works. All right, so after doing this, we can go ahead and just tell it to continue. But before then, let's access other aspects of this tool that we can use in customizing our output. And for this, we have the ability to choose the output format. I would prefer leaving it on PNG, which is nice. For seed, I have never messed with seed. I always leave it at random or the default. And for prompt upsampling, this is just prompt enhancement. And this prompt can I mean still give it a better prompt, but then if we can't and we want the AI to just add more details, refine it the more, then we would need to just check this, but I would rather just leave it this way. And for safety tolerance, I mean, the safety tolerance is rated from 0 to 6. And what this means is if there's any uncensored aspect of the image, it should take note. And the higher the safety tolerance, I mean, the more aggressive it is when handling such images. And for the batch size, this is how many images we want to have as our output when the image is generated. I like leaving it on 4 so we can have different options to choose from. But from my own experience, most of the outputs look very similar because they are all very good, mostly. So 4 is still much because, I mean, if this is credit based, then it means we would need to know how we play with our credits. So for this, I am just going to reduce it to 2 and then just go ahead and run it. So this is going to just analyze the image, do its thing, and follow the prompt. And all we did now was to just tell it to do a few things by prompting it with what we have in our minds. And then now we wait for the output and see what it comes up with. All right, so we have two of our results, and oh my goodness, the second one, even before clicking it, it already looks so enhanced. Just look at how the color, I mean, the lighting has been retouched, the skin tone. I mean, this is so better than the input we gave it, and this was the input. So you can see the difference right now, and it just shows how good this tool is. We didn't really need to do any other thing. All we needed was just to know what we feel is missing and then tell it to work on that. And just look at this. So this is far better. Like for the scenario I gave, I mean, being a social media influencer, it's better to post pictures like this than to post the first one. So let's go to the next use case. So for the next use case, this is a necklace, and let's say you are a small business owner who sells handmade jewelry online, and your product pictures look washed out and inconsistent. I mean, this is the best you could produce because you're a small business owner. That's fine. So how do we make this more professional using the Flux Playground? Okay, so here's what I came up with. Place necklace on a crisp white background. I also asked it to boost contrast and highlight sparkle. And yes, because this part is supposed to be sparkling. This is how you sell your product. So let's see how the AI will handle it. Let me just recheck these aspects. All right, so for the safety tolerance, it's still on the default that we left it. And the batch size is 4. And I think for every generation we do, we have to still play around with this. So just keep that at the back of your mind, except if you are just willing to run by the default, that's fine. So now we wait for this generation to complete. And by the way, this is really fast because just look at this. It's done. And we have two different options. This is way better than what we had earlier on. I mean, just look at this. And this is the second option. And I think I prefer the first, even though, you know, the second looked like it was on the same angle with the original image, but this looks a lot better based on the input that we have given it. And to show you how crazy this tool is, we can decide to put this necklace on someone. So I can just decide to edit this since this is already on the system. I can decide to edit, click on edit, and once I do so, it's going to accept it as the input image. So now, since this is the input image, what I've asked it to do is to just allow a lady in her 20s to wear it, and she has to look happy while doing it. Let's see what the output would be. So it's going to take the entire image out of this white background, generate another character, and then place it perfectly on that character. That's what we intend to see. So let me see what the output will be. From the two images generated, I can see that this is the one that even has the necklace visible. The necklace looks even a lot bigger than I anticipated. On the lady, but then it's fine. Look at her, she's happy wearing it, and this other image doesn't even have the necklace there. It just has a lady in her 20s looking happy. But this is the future of editing. Now let's move to the next use case. So for this next case, it affects people who are into real estate listings. And yes, you may want to list your property, but you may not have the professional photography skills to do so. Let's say you are trying to sell this property, and this, by the way, this was still generated using AI. So just look at this. So let's say I am a real estate agent and I've taken photos of a home on a cloudy day. The walls look gray. The yard feels dreary. Just look at this. This doesn't look so presentable, even though this is how it looks, it looks. When the person comes to inspect it, but you are trying to sell the product, so it's supposed to look a bit more professional. So how do we fix this? All right, so here's the prompt I gave it. Convert living room into a bright airy space with warm natural light. Also make backyard appear sunlit with vibrant grass, because it's obvious that the grass here isn't presentable. And now let's see, this is a two level prompt that we are giving this image, because it needs to work on this part and it needs to work on this part as well. So let's see how it handles this. Oh wow, so now this has presented us with four different images, and just like I said, the images, the results look more similar. So that's why I don't usually like leaving it on 4. But just look at the first one. This is way better than what we saw earlier on. And then this is the second one. You see, it looks very similar that you can't even tell the difference. But just look at how it brightened the whole photo and made this a bit more professional compared to what was seen earlier on. And the third, and I'm sure the fourth one will look very similar as well. But you could choose any and work with it. But I think this last one is it's better, because there were some missing parts of the grass here in the other ones. Or was it my eye? All right, yeah, so just look at this. So I guess the third and the fourth are better if you are trying to choose the one that has a better grass in the background. But this is just us giving a prompt and getting results based on what we have in mind. So now let's use the next use case. If you like what you've been watching so far, then a like to this video and a sub to the channel will be massively helpful. Now let's continue with the video. So now for the next use case, as you can see on the screen, let's say someone digs up a decade-old family portrait that's slightly scratched and colored faded. This is more than a decade old, because I have been in existence for more than a decade, so I know my photos were not black and white then. And now, how do we fix this? Obviously, we need to make it colorful. We need to retouch all these old parts. And by the way, again, this image was generated using AI. So look at how realistic it looks. Now, let's try to fix this by just prompting it with what it should do. All right, so what I prompted it to do is I said restore this photo to vivid colors, remove scratches, and sharpen faces. I guess this is all we need to do. And we can also tell it to remove stains from the background. And now we see what it gives us, because this is really interesting. So it's going to just make it have more vivid colors. That's one. And sharpen the faces because it's an old image. And then remove scratches. You can see some scratches around here. And then remove some of these stains. I think this could be stew from, I mean, when someone enjoyed eating their favorite dish. So now let's wait for this to complete. All right, so this is complete. And once more, I forgot to just limit the images to two, because we're still going to get very similar outputs because they are all very good. But just look at this. This is really, really nice. This is the future of image editing. To achieve something like this in the past, you would need to gather all the photo editing skills that you have, know all the best tools to use, how to approach them. But just look at this. This is the first version. And like I said, they're all going to be very similar. And this is not even as colorful as the first one, but the first one was really nice. This is the third one, and the consistency in the faces is still there. So this is very usable. And just look at how the faces are maintained. The scratches are gone. The background stains are out, and the colors are vibrant, and the faces are also clearer. This, like I said, is the future of photo editing. So let's try using a different approach. When you're generating a photo from this, that's when you have the freedom to choose the aspect ratio. And if you notice, this aspect ratio option was out when we were editing, because it would just use the dimension of the images that you have provided it with. Now, from the home section of Leonardo AI, I just found an image here with a very comprehensive prompt. So what I want us to do is to just copy this prompt and then paste it here. So let's see how it handles this. Even though, I mean, we just saw how this generated images, the newer versions of images, based on the edits we gave it to do. So it shows generating images shouldn't be a problem, right? So for this, I'm still going to leave this on for now. And then we are not going to do any prompt enhancements. So I'm just going to generate this. Now, just look at how fast the generation was. And as it is, this image even looks much more realistic than what we have in Leonardo AI. Even though Leonardo AI, we need to check what model was used here. Okay, it was the Phoenix. So yeah, we can't really compare. But then this has more realistic appearance than what we had there. So now let's say we prefer to use this image. We can edit this and it will accept it as as the input for us to edit. And then we can just ask it to do anything that we want it to do. So we can just say she should wear a red suit and stand in a busy New York City. All right, so let's add an accessory. No, we shouldn't, because I want to show you how this would also help in maintaining the consistency in images generated, which is a very important thing as well, which means you can use this to generate images of the same person in different locations, different attires. I mean, just having consistent images continuously. And that's the beauty of this tool. The Flux Playground right now is so far the best AI image editor I have used, is the best AI image editor I have worked with. And I just hope the quality remains the same, because even when you have the output ready, the quality is really so good. So just look at how fast also the generation is. So just look at how realistic this looks. Unless if we ask it to remove some features, it will still leave some of the features there, like the red dot in her forehead. But this is the same character. I mean, this is the same character as the one that we saw, and she has a red suit out of the background that we actually carried her from, and this was how she was. And now what if we decide to say, all right, fine, we don't want her to put on a turtleneck, or we want her to have a different facial expression, or let her just look at the side away from the camera. We can do that. So I can just say edit, and she should be looking away from the camera while putting on some dark shades and standing like a model. All right, so let's see what this comes up with. It means she's going to maintain the same background that we have placed her in. She's going to maintain the same clothing, but then this time we are making changes in how she stands and what she is looking at. All right, so this was what I added to what we already had. She should be looking away from the camera while putting on some dark shades and standing like a model. You can see that already. So it maintained the consistency. She has dark shades right now. She has her red suit. She is standing in the same background where she was before. And just look at this. These were the characters. These were the vehicles. So it didn't change any of these, which means you can play around with even your images containing the same attributes just by adding some touches to what you've already given it. And this just gives me an idea. Let me just try with my own image and see how I look. So this is my image, and this is what I have prompted it to do. Let him look away from the camera. Put some dark shades on him and make the colors pop while increasing clarity. So now let's see what this comes up with. Okay, the last one is terrible. But look at this. Oh my goodness. This looks like the back of my head, even though the shirt isn't like that. I mean, at the back, but this went ahead to do some extra layer of work that is quite impressive. Yeah, so I told it to look away from the camera. So why wouldn't it just turn 180 degrees? But the bottom line is you can do virtually anything you want with this tool. I haven't tried it with censored images because I'm not interested in knowing how the output would be. But from what I can see, this is, I'm not exaggerating, but this is the future of image editing. Let me know what your stand is on a tool like this. Let me know how you see yourself using it. Is it something that you would find yourself using so often? Because even if you are not into photos, this would make you want to edit a lot of photos, even if it's for fun. So that's been it. Thank you for watching. I encourage you to just play around with it and let me know in the comment section what you think. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. If you have learned anything from this video, please click the Buy Me a Coffee link below. Every donation helps me to continue bringing this type of content to you.